Are NIL deals killing youth sports today? What's going on, everyone? This is Logan Landers and Jay McLovin here today to talk about name, image, and likeness and if it's affecting youth sports today. Jay, the floor is yours. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Yeah, thank you, Logan. I appreciate it. NIL and the unregulated monster that it has become. Yes, the death of amateur sports is definitely at its precipice. It is the beginning of it all. The beginning of the Armageddon, if you will. You know, Logan, boosters have really taken this to a whole nother level. NIL started it. Now the boosters and the schools are carrying it forward, right? So basically what we're doing now, Logan, is we're giving a version of NIL money to high school athletes in exchange for their commitment to our programs. We're talking upwards to $250,000 a year as a commitment or as a sign of good faith from these athletes towards these schools, basically making these athletes free agents now. High school is now the new free agency of college sports. There is no more amateurs. Now you're paying the athletes all the way down to the high school level. Now I understand not all athletes will get these types of deals, right? We know all of them aren't going to get that. Just like in college, they don't get those kinds of deals. But it's still, you're still buying amateur athletes and forcing them. That's what it is. We're forcing them to commit to the colleges. And what do I mean by forcing them? So if a commitment or if a commit takes this booster or school money in exchange for a commitment letter to them, and then they decide, well, I don't want to commit. I want out of this. That's fine. You can get out, but you're going to have to pay the $250,000 back. Now, let's go further. Let's say you take that NIL deal or that commitment deal at the age of a freshman in high school. And let's say you get all the way to your senior year. And then all of a sudden you say, you know what? Nah, I don't want to go to Texas. I want to go to Georgia. Well, that's fine. But I hope you got that full $1 million because $250,000 times 4 is $1 million. So I hope you got that full $1 million because you're going to have to give it all. And then, yes, you can go to Georgia. Now, I will tell you, Logan, it ain't going to happen that they're going to decommit because nobody's going to get that $1 million. I guarantee you, the minute that money hits their pockets, it's already spent. So nobody's going to keep that $1 million or have that $1 million to even pay to get out of what they got themselves involved in. I don't feel bad for them, though. They're getting $1 million. Even if you don't like the school that you want to go to a different school, who cares? You got $1 million. That's before you even get to college. You're a high schooler with $1 million and rolling into college. Wow. I didn't have that kind of money growing up, Logan. I don't know anybody that had that kind of money growing up. But the problem with it is we're turning high school athletes into free agents. That's what we're doing. We are perverting and killing amateurs. You got to believe this, and I'm going to close it with this. You got to believe this. If the commitment money starts with football, it's going to spread into basketball and baseball and lacrosse and softball and soccer and God knows whatever other sport they can figure out to put an NIL money or commitment money into. So literally, Logan, it may not every amateur player is going to get this kind of money, but a good portion of them will. And what is that going to mean for amateur sports? Well, there will be no more amateur. The only amateur sport that will be left would probably be junior high football if that doesn't get a commitment letter. And, YMCA and travel ball and things like that before you even get to junior high. That's where the amateurism will end and professional free agency will start. I don't like it, but I understand it.
So the reason we brought this topic up today is Georgia head coach Kirbysmart recently stated that NIL collectives are paying up to $20,000 a month to recruits, which is just insane to believe. I mean, the NIL is still very new, very fresh for the most part, right? And we've seen the impact it's made in college football athletics, where players will leave teams because of they're not getting the correct playing time. They're not getting enough money on their current deal. They're wanting to go to another school, maybe a lesser school, maybe a bigger school for more money. Now we're seeing, Jay, it's slowly starting to creep its way into high school athletics, as well as potentially even lower than that. It could very well go that way. A quick search says over 30 U.S. states now allow high school athletes to profit from the NIL money. It is banned in certain states because that's just their jurisdictions. More and more states are starting to allow NIL money to come into not just their school, but to their programs, whether it be football, whether it be baseball, track and field, you name it, and go to these athletes who are high school kids, right? They're anywhere from 14 to 18, give or take. And it feels like now there has been a shift in recent years of there is not much passion for the game as much as I feel. It's more so, let's just get some money and get out of here. Let's get money, let's get rich, and call it a day. Wipe our hands clean with it. Because people might be struggling going into high school, right? They might be struggling financially, but you're a star athlete. And you get, let's just say, a $20,000 deal from your high school as your star quarterback. If I see 20 grand, I'm pocketing that money and I'm taking it. I'm either going to help out whoever, or I'm gonna work and get better and better, head to college, hopefully get a good deal, and hopefully continue that success. But it feels like now, Jay, and especially, the age of social media and everything, that it's a me sport, right? And not a team sport, is what I'm getting from it with the NIL deals. And I think it is negatively affecting youth sports, amateur sports, whatever you want to call it. It's sad to see, because I did, I'm sure you did, we didn't grow up playing, we would always fantasize, say, I'm going to get $1 million right, one day, playing baseball, playing whatever. But never what I would have thought in high school. And I mean, that was just 10 years ago for me, saying, man, I'm going to get $20,000 for playing baseball at high school. Never in my dream, especially when there's minor leaguers, and not just in baseball, but across all the other sports too, making minimum wage, it feels like, for their profession. And high schoolers and I'm sure there's some cases, Jay, of people even just in amateur sports, in youth sports, that their local leagues even could be getting more money than professional athletes. And Jay, I just want to reiterate this before we end our show today. Let's not forget that NIL deals are for student athletes. Let's go back to the first word there, and that's student, in student athletes. Grades are important. You gotta make your grades if you want to play, let alone get paid. So for those out there getting NIL money, getting these brand deals, getting car deals, getting shoe deals, whatever it may be, enjoy it. You've worked hard to get that. But don't forget, you gotta do some work in the classroom as well, because sports aren't always gonna be there. You can always have something to fall back on. So that's our thoughts here today. We want to hear yours, though, in the comments on our YouTube channel or anywhere else. Is NIL killing youth sports, amateur sports? We want to hear your thoughts. And if you have any personal experience with this, sound off in our comments.